Hello everyone, and welcome to those who are new to the channel. My name is Jay McMahon, former Junior Team USA captain, all-tournament team selection and gold medalist, here today to share with you some facts about the fundamentals of the game of lacrosse.
Outside of McMahon, everybody else is bunched up in front of the cage. It's almost a clear-out situation. Back comes to McMahon, he goes low and he scores. Screen shot, he went low, and Caleb, I don't think saw that shot.
The fundamental skill that we'll be working on today is scooping. So when it comes to scooping a lacrosse ball, fortunately there are some very simple, repeatable, fundamental steps that every player should take. Now when we're getting a ground ball, typically it's going to be in a crowd. These loose balls, these 50-50 ground balls, there's going to be opponents that are going to be fighting for that ball as well. So what we want to do is get in an athletic stance. We want to bend at the knees, bend at the hips, bend at the waist. And as we're scooping it, we really don't want to poke at the ball. We want to get in position to scoop it, maybe take a little motion forward, but we want to run through the ground ball. We don't want to just stand there and scoop at it because our opponents are there and they can check our stick. So we want to get over the ball. We say we want to see it. We want to see it so that our eyes are right over the ball. All right, number one is see it, scoop it. Then we say kiss it, all right? So that means we're gonna bring that ball right up near our face mask as if we were gonna kiss the ball, and then we hear it, all right? So it's see it, scoop it, kiss it, hear it, and then we're running through the ball. Again, we wanna take a step, come through it, bring it up, and keep on moving forward down the field. The reason that the fundamentals of scooping is taught that way is because many times as we're picking up a ground ball, whether at the youth level or at the masters level that I'm at, is we're getting it in a crowd.
Good angle though. Wow, loose ball. Donald Buddy has.
So we want to make sure that we're not getting our stick checked, right, and that we're keeping it well protected. Now, sometimes we're in such a scrum, so to speak, that it's going to be very difficult to pick the ball up. And what can work well in that case is to get a look around you and see where there is some open space and simply kick the ball out into open space, and then the same principles apply.
Syracuse initially has possession of the personal steam.
Where we want to run through that ground ball and keep our momentum going forward, keep our stick protected. Another way we can get the ball out into space is simply hitting it with our stick. So if we see a wide open space over here, the momentum and all the crowd is in this direction, we can get over here and we can knock the ball out into space. You'll see a lot of long poles in college and in high school at high levels of play do just that. As they go to pick up the ball, if they're in a crowd, they knock it over and then they run it down themselves and pick it up.
But he can't hang on, and Hopkins looking to come back up with it. They do, and this is Billy Guan.
That's definitely a legitimate way to get a ground ball out of a crowd. I always tell the story of playing against two of the greatest players who ever played. That were the twins, Paul and Gary Gate.
All right. Tom, look at this face-off in the wide shot. Syracuse may be the only team in the country to use their normal midfielders. The Gate brothers are on the wings. That's thinking all offense. Everybody else uses a long sticks pole, and Hopkins is no exception.
And were they the best shooters? The most accurate feeders? Two of the most powerful players I'd ever played against? Absolutely. But one of the things that impressed me the most was I was facing off all game and they were playing the wings, and it was at Brown University and on a very muddy, wet, rainy day, and I've never seen two players work so hard to get ground balls. And every time they got them was just the way I just described, that they are getting down over that ball. Now, a good ground ball drill you can do with your team is to have two players back to back and just drop a ball between them. And then these two players have to get low, get leverage, and try to get behind that ball and be able to scoop it up. Naturally, another drill is the very common 2-on-1 drill, the man ball drill. That can be effective, but it's also effective just to have one-on-one ground balls. So you have two teammates that are learning how to get a ground ball, get leverage, and be able to get the ball out into space so that then they can pick it up. Having coached lacrosse for over 20 years, I often get asked, is it ever okay to do a one-handed ground ball? And the answer is yes.
All the way. What's this? Volker, tremendous defense, but Gary Gates says, hey, I'm going to get myself in the game. He feels pressure from Petramala, so he leans inside the pressure, dives flat out, and drops it underneath the Kessler's legs. What a play by Gary Gates.
Okay, now 9 times out of 10, we want to have 2 hands on the ball. Actually, if there's any defenders around me or any opponents, and I pick the ball up like this, it's an easy target for my stick to get checked. So that's a definite no-no. Another scenario, though, is I faced off in high school and college, and if I got a quick break where I rolled the ball out front, my coach, the legendary Doc Doherty from Garden City, who was a stickler, had us shoot overhanded bounce shots all the time, and always had 2 hands on the stick, would allow me to pick the ball up with one hand as I'm out on the break and then head off. Only reason why was that there was no one near me in that case, and it was just a lot quicker to get to the fast break. So those really, in the wide open field, it's okay to do a one-handed ground ball. You are more apt to miss it, but in general, if you have got a player or you are a player who can practice this over and over again, it can be okay. Just make sure there's no other opponents nearby. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you found this helpful, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and go ahead and share it with a friend. This is Jay McMahon from Jay McMahon Lacrosse, dedicated to your success.